My life and my happiness is my responsibility. No magic fairy is ever going to come by and give me all of the beauty and happiness I want to experience without me doing anything for it. If there is a fairy like that, I would love to have her number, but as far as I'm concerned, that is not the case. There is a part of me that deeply believes in destiny and a bigger plan, I guess, but I have realized that it is the choices that I take that determine whether that happens or not, and how much I decide to take responsibility for my life and how I create it. But what does it mean to take responsibility for your life and take your life into your own hands? Learning this has been a process for me because I often get confused with things like boundaries and re-evaluation of situations and of people, because things like that always feel like I'm being selfish for me. But I have realized that taking your life into your own hands and being selfish are two very, very different things. And today I would like to share a few things that I like to remind myself of are okay and actually not selfish when it comes to taking responsibility for my life and my happiness. Number one, what am I getting out of this? Once I started finding more and more interest in learning about myself and finding a happiness within, I guess, that doesn't rely entirely on outside sources, I realized that I needed other people less and less because I learned how to self-regulate my emotions and my thoughts, and that often brought me into situations and with people where things were very unbalanced because I didn't necessarily need it to be balanced, which is why I didn't take the initiative to change. And every situation and every relationship is different. You know, sometimes unbalanced relationships make us grow a lot, but I think it is important to be aware of what is happening and then decide from there. So here, asking the question, what am I getting out of this, is actually very important, because just because I don't need the same respect and understanding that I give out doesn't mean I don't deserve it. And just because I'm able to handle unbalanced relationships and situations doesn't mean that I have to do that. I believe real self-love is also this acknowledgement that deeper relationships and time and understanding and energy, there should be a give and take. And so one person might be giving other things than the other person, but there should be a fair exchange at some point. And so when you look at a situation or a person and you ask yourself, what am I getting out of this? And the answer is not a lot. It's just become a habit to accept that because I'm able to accept it. It is okay to reevaluate or change the situation or vocalize that, or even walk away if needed. That is not a selfish thing to do. Number two, my life is something I create, not something I have to endure. In difficult situations, I oftentimes find myself going into this autopilot state where I'm just like, okay, this is happening now. There's nothing I can do about it, so just close my eyes and get through it. But life will always have its ups and downs, and so that is not really a great approach. Oftentimes there are so many things, small things and big things, that we can do that can drastically improve things, even if there is a difficult situation in front of us. Sometimes, and I know this from myself, you get so overwhelmed and lost in the fog of everything that it takes someone to actually give a reminder. You don't have to suffer unnecessarily. And I think that's the difficult part about saying everything always happens for a reason, because I think at times it can be an excuse to not change and stay in situations that are actually very harmful because we are using that as an excuse. But as I said, my life is something I create, not something that I have to endure. Sometimes that means bigger things and bigger change, like maybe cutting someone out of your life or leaving a situation or leaving a job or something like that. But oftentimes there are so many little small things that we can do that can really improve things. Like for me, maybe I was not feeling so great and I actually would really like to go away in nature for the weekend by myself, and I know that would really improve my well-being, but that thought doesn't even come to my mind, or if it does, I don't listen to it because you just get so lost in the overwhelmment of everything. Or maybe I wanted to buy myself that necklace that I've been wanting for a long time, or buy that book that I wanted to read, or take a spa day, whatever. I don't know, just enjoy life. When difficult things happen, they often for me feel like a wave, and it just takes you over, and then you just get lost in the water and you can't breathe anymore. But I try to remind myself that I am allowed to take choices and action that makes me feel like I have my life in my own hands, and I'm creating my own happiness and my own choices, irrelevant from the people and the situations around me, which is something that I will anyway never be able to control, rather than having to endure pain or suffering or chaos because it must be happening for a reason. Number 3, other people are not my responsibility. I am responsible for how I affect the people in my life and what my actions and words create, but I am not responsible for someone else's happiness or well-being. It is a beautiful thing to be there for other people, but I try to remind myself that you do not need to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. This took me a while to understand, because nobody wants to see someone they love or connect with in pain, especially when that person is not even aware of how much pain they're truly in, or they are just not doing anything about it. But I have learned that it is important to stay compassionate and helpful, while at the same time understanding that everyone is on their own journey and their own path, and you can't really save anyone from themselves. That is something that everyone needs to figure out for themselves. There is a big difference between kindness and taking on that is just not yours. There's generally a big difference between selfishness and just taking responsibility for your own life or your own happiness and your own world that you create. And I've learned that it is just something that you learn. It's a process. Like, sometimes I do things and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have put boundaries earlier, and I should have not given so much of myself. And other times I have situations where I think that was really selfish of me, and that person needed me and I was reactive, or I don't know, just not available. I think those things are very normal, and you just learn as you go. In the beginning, once I started understanding how much responsibility I have for my own life and for my own happiness, it felt scary, because there were so many things that I saw that I could change, but I didn't have the courage to. But at some point it started feeling more freeing to realize that also, all that responsibility also means that nobody can really tell me who I'm supposed to be or how I'm supposed to feel. It is my life and my choices that create my life. So yeah, that is all I wanted to share for today. Is there anything else I wanted to say? I don't think so. I think this is it. So as always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, check out some other videos of mine. That really helps me out a lot. My podcast, Flowers and Rain, is also available now, so if you want to check that out, I will have the link in the description box. And yeah, that is it from my side. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in my next video.
Richtig frisch noch, voll gut. Elegantester Shot ever, kriegt das Ding nicht auf und dann kribbelst du dich.